alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I will be explaining chapter 2 of Science Factual 1 and which is life in living things. So now as you can see these three things in these pictures look very different from each other. However, they are all living things. They all carry out the same life processes as you can see right here. However, they don't do it the same way. A cat moves very quickly, but an ivy plant and moves slowly towards, uh, like up a wall towards light. The sun and life process it is our characteristics uh, are are feeding, which is how well they eat food and that type of stuff. And so then growth, where they grow up and stuff. For example, animals grow until a certain height, plants grow continuously, he, and then they all have perform the process of excretion, and which is removing waste such as carbon dioxide and water, and it's called excretion. and and they all move in some ways. These animals move by using legs, wings, fins. Plants move by growing towards or away from something. Then animals use sense organs such as eyes and ears to respond to what is going around them. So basically responding to things that's the same thing for both. So well animals use sense organs. Meanwhile, plants and can still react because they but don't have sense organs by growing towards things, and all of them reproduce to replace those that die. And then living things need energy to grow, so to move and to enable the body to work properly. Energy is released from food in a process called respiration. This is the process of getting energy from food. And so yeah, cells. So this topic is about cells. Cells, which our bodies are made up of millions and millions and millions of cells. Cells, all living things are made up of one or more cells. Some living things, such as bacteria, exist as a single cell. These are called unicellular organisms. Most plant animals and plants, however, are made up of millions of cells joined together. These are called multicellular organisms. So any organism with one cell in it. So bacteria, as an example, right here, there, and also more things like amoeba. Uh, all all are called unicellular because they only have one cell. Uni means one. Multicellular, of course, would mean multiple cells. Also, anything with more than one cell. Also, for example, animals, plants, humans, all these things, they are called multicellular organisms. Cells are microscopic, so they can only be seen through a microscope. They are very, very, very tiny. They measured in micrometers. As this diagram right here shows a light microscope. Using a light microscope. So how do you use a light microscope? Well, first of all, the object that you want is put on a glass microscope slide and and usually covered with a cover slip. So it's put on a slide which is put here, and then a cover slip covers it normally, and then the stage clips keep it in, and and then and the slide is placed on the stage of the microscope and held in place with the stage clips. So the stage clips will hold it in on the stage, and the hole in the stage allows light to pass through from a light source below. So the hole in this stage, which you can't see here, but there is a hole in this stage, allows light from below to pass through. So the diaphragm can be adjusted to allow more or less light to pass through the hole. So this mirror can be adjusted in by being rotated and tilted to adjust how much light it goes up. Light shines through the object and into the objective lens, so the light will shine through this object and then into this objective lens, and light passes from the objective lens through the eyepiece lens and into your eye. So then from the objective lens the light passes into the eyepiece lens, and then here you would put your eye, and then your it passes into your eye so you can see it. The focus knobs adjust the distance between the objective lens and create a clear image. So, basically, these focus knobs allow you to adjust how much you magnify it in the distance. And right. So yeah. And then light microscopes usually have more than one objective lens. As you can see, there are three here. And these are arranged on a turret. So this is a turret right here, and it can be rotated, and so that you can use lenses with different magnifications, hence to look at the object. 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, and 40 times objective lenses are most popular, and the eyepiece lens is usually 10 times. If the eyepiece magnification is 10 times and the objective lens magnification is 20 times, the total magnification is 10 times. 10 times 20 equals 200 times. Times x 200. Animal cell versus plant cell. What are the difference between animal cells and plant cells? Well, both have the same three things: nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. In which, as you can see right here, this is an animal cell: cytoplasm, nucleus, and cell membrane. Plant cell: cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Yes, but plant cells have three other things: the cell wall, chloroplasts, and the vacuole. And in the cell wall is a layer above the cell membrane and keeping its shape. Large vacuole, which is this, which contains cell sap, which is a fluid, and then green chloroplasts, which contain chlorophyll, which is how it photosynthesizes. Special cells for special jobs. This topic is about four types of cells right here, which are some special cells for some special jobs, as it says. As so, we have nerve cells, epithelial cells, pollen grains, and red blood cells. cells. Nerve cells basically are, well, we have a lot of them in our brain, and they carry messages from one part of the body to another. And then epithelial cells, they are thin and flat head and found in layers covering surfaces such as the skin, lining of the blood vessels, and the alimentary canal. But what do? They help in protection and absorption. Pollen grains are these cells which have some of them have spiky surfaces like this. Some of them have tiny wings, and both forms help in pollination. And the ones that have spiky surfaces let them stick to the surfaces of creatures. There's like insects, and then others have tiny wings, which let them be carried by the wind. Red blood cells that carry oxygen around the body. They have a large surface this area to pick up lots of oxygen. They basically carry oxygen throughout your body, and then they have a large surface area. So as you can see, this is a large surface area to pick up lots of oxygen. Cells, tissues, and organs. And cells divide and grow to make more cells like them. A group of similar cells doing the same job is called tissue. So basically, as you can see, you have cell tissues right here. Here, making up the stomach, which is an organ. In different tissues combined to make an organ, and 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 the stomach is made up of these three tissues: nerve tissue, blood tissue, and muscle tissue. And then multiple organs working together form an organ system, which carry out much larger jobs than a single organ is able to do. And so organs together make up an organism. An organism is something that is able to survive on its own. Organ systems. Organs work together in groups called organ systems. Some of the main organ systems of the human body are shown in the diagrams below. So these diagrams show some of the main systems of the human body. First of all, we have the breathing system, which is how we breathe in air and exhale air. And then the digestive system, which is how we eat food and digest it. The nervous system, which carries messages around the body. The excretory system, which is basically something to get rid of poisonous substances from the blood and controls water levels in the body. And then the circulatory system, which transports substances to all parts of the body, such as blood and more things. Sense organs and senses make up some air of what is going around us. There are five senses, and each has a sense organ. So basically, we have the five senses, as you probably know: sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. Right? Sight, how we are seeing, hearing. Well, are hearing, touch, are feeling of something. Like, for example, if you were to touch this book, you would feel it a little bit, because because that's the sense of touch. Smell, it's how we smell food or anything like that, a smell like a perfume, for example. And then we taste, well, how we taste things such as any food or something. Eyes are the sense organs of sight. Our eyes are the sense organs of sight, basically. They're the sense organs to let us see things. And then they are placed in sockets in the skull. So basically, our skull is here, and then there are gaps in the skull where the eyes are placed. And then and and they also this also helps protect them from damage. So it protects them from being damaged. And then we have the eyes are held in place by muscles. So there are muscles which keep the eye in place, so it doesn't move constantly. And then and they also help change the shape of the lens and move the eyeball. Oh, oh, and so then we have two eyes a few centimeters apart. As you know, we have two eyes and they are only a few centimeters apart. This helps us to judge distance and find the position of things easily. Each eye sees a slightly different image. The brain puts the two images together to get a 3D, three-dimensional effect. This is called stereoscopic vision. So basically, in the eyes see slightly different images. Yes, and then the brain, and then our brain, and will combine those two images into one, and to form a 3D effect. So we actually see things in 3D rather than, for example, 2D. And then rays of light. How do we see? Well, rays of light come from the object, as you can see, and then they are all focused onto, uh, and then it passes through the cornea, pupil, and lens, and the rays strike the retina. So the retina, which is this part of our eye, right, which is right here. There it goes all the way around. Yeah, right here. That is what contains the nerve cells. And so yeah, and then it strikes. So, and then the signals go to the nerve cells of the retina. So the nerve cells will send signals to the brain along this optic nerve right here, which is shown right here. And then the picture is formed upside down on the retina. Huh? Before this, the picture is formed upside down on the retina, because yes, it forms upside down on the retina, and then the brain flips the image back up, because as you can see, as the rays of light go through, these rays which are below and these rays which were above, the ones which are above go below, and the ones which are below go above, which swaps them, making it upside down. And so now we actually see it. And as you can see, you know, is it? And so, the lens is made up of a jelly-like substance. Right here, as you can see, this is a jelly-like substance. And the shape of the lens can be changed by a ring of muscle, which is right here. These rings of muscle. It can be changed. It changes the shape of the lens right here. This muscle, and then the amount of light, and this allows us to focus this on objects at different distances. The amount of light entering the eyes controlled by the iris, the colored part of the eye, and then the pupil is the hole in the middle of the iris, which is what we see as the black part. So yeah, and then the retina has millions of light sensitive nerve cells which interprets the signals to make an image. And then and we have ears which are the organs for hearing. We have two ears, one on each side of our head, and as you can see, as you would know, you can, as you should know, and so they change vibrations from the ear, from the air, into nerve impulses, which then travel to the brain. So basically, it converts them into signals, which will then travel into the brain, and then they are interpreted as sounds. They have three parts: outer ear flap, ear canal, and the eardrum, which is and then the middle ear contains the three small bones, which are hammer, anvil, and stirrup. Um, inner ear cochlea and auditory nerve. Which then we have these two more things in the center, which just let's act further. The semicircular canals are for balance, and it works by the ear flap collecting vibrations in the air and then sends them down the short ear canal. How and then the ear um, gets them where it vibrates in time with vibrations in the air and passes this vibration to the hammer, anvil, and strip, which these three bones are are able to amplify the eardrum sounds by 20 times. And then these vibrations are detected by nerve cells in the walls of the cochlea, which then signals as from these to the brain, and then the brain interprets these as sounds. So that's how you hear things. And then the semicircular canals are organs of balance, so they lie at right angles to each other. And when you're about to go off balance, and, then and it sends a signal to your brain in the you're going off balance, so it tells your muscles to go upright. Unfortunately, I can only explain half of the chapter today. Okay, so inshallah, tomorrow I will explain the other half of this chapter. So goodbye. Inshallah, I will see you tomorrow.